Hello my friends. My name is Bot Mathematician and this is Holomancer.
Also, Chief Investigative Reporter Dora joined us this evening.
Gadgets and Gazette always gets the scoop.
Today we will tell you how I managed to cheat the Hearthstone progression system and turn my collection into a dust farm, which allows me to regularly generate additional resources.
It is generally accepted that Hearthstone is an extremely expensive game. This is not entirely true. In fact, the game is very friendly to most players. Moreover, the unregulated economy allows for a significant increase in the amount of gaming resources. In this video, we will prove that you can play Hearthstone completely free and even earn significantly more resources than Blizzard provided.
Guys, you often talk about the advantages of the game's economy, but even I don't fully believe that your calculations are 100% correct. Moreover, everyone knows that Hearthstone does not have a grinding mechanic, which means that obtaining additional resources in a simple or passive way is impossible. I demand convincing evidence from you.
Dora, we have irrefutable evidence, but before we begin, I want to make a quick announcement. In the circumstances of the ongoing terror of the Russian Federation, Ukraine in the near future may be subject to another massive missile attack aimed at destroying the energy structure. All Ukrainians may again be left without electricity, internet and eating in winter.
Most likely this will deprive me of the opportunity to create new videos. Last year, due to active hostilities, I lost the ability to regularly publish videos and was punished by YouTube algorithms. The platform no longer offers new videos to users without a subscription. It was only relatively recently that the situation was slightly improved, but the channel still does not make a profit.
Honestly, if the worst case scenario happens, I'm not sure that YouTube will allow me to restore the work again. But I promise that I will try to do everything possible to save the channel. Your support over the past year has given me enormous strength. Special thanks to our patrons for the opportunity to stay afloat. Everything can happen unexpectedly, but I will be back with a new video as soon as technical capabilities are restored.
Now let's get back to the topic of the video. I've been playing Hearthstone for almost 10 years. I always had enough useful cards. For this reason, I never bought pre-orders or bundles with packs for money. On rare occasions, I made purchases to support further development of the game. In addition, unlike other content creators, in the 6 years of the channel's existence, I have never collaborated with Blizzard or received gifts from developers. But I have always been an extremely rational bot and experimented with different strategies for collecting resources. The best proof of my farm's work is my dust reserves.
Bot Mathematics has more than 70,000 dust in his account, plus another 15,000 dust invested in golden cards. The total amount of dust continues to increase like a snowball. He managed to collect all available free diamond cards as achievements for obtaining 90% of the legendary cards of certain expansions. He also has full access to all game formats including Twist and Duels. An impressive result for a free to-play account. He has too many resources, and all this was made possible by abusing the game's features that we have been experimenting with over the years. But before we talk in detail about how the bot deceived the system, we must first understand the logic and rules of the progression system.
Hearthstone is primarily a free-to-play game with a very flexible and extremely simple economy. Gold allows you to purchase any pack in the game while dust allows you to craft any card. I hate to admit it, but Blizzard sells variety, not advantage. A premium player has no advantages over a free-to-play player. All this thanks to the crafting system, which allows you to get any card in the game. This is an incredibly loyal system that can get out of control and damage the monetization of the game, which means it needs some restrictions. For this reason, the number of free resources in the game is strictly limited, mainly due to the too much loyalty of the crafting system. The progression system is based on the extraction of resources for collecting cards. The more cards you get, the more decks for different classes with different playstyles will be available to you.
The total number of free resources during the expansion phase strictly corresponds to the cost of the full collection of one expansion. This means that in the long run you will not be able to gradually collect all the cards for several expansions at the same time. This is the only significant limitation of the system, which creates a barrier to entry for new and returning players, and also closes full access to alternative game formats besides standard.
To get the full collection of one expansion, you need to purchase 260 packs plus mini set for 2000 gold. The estimated amount of easily accessible free resources that players will be able to obtain during the Titans expansion phase is equivalent to 160 packs of Titans. This amount includes all special rewards from the rewards track, as well as ranking rewards for achieving diamond rank, plus gifts for other activities. This total amount will be enough to get almost all the useful cards, but certainly not the entire collection. Please note that the Titans expansion phase is 2 weeks shorter than usual, so players will be able to earn less gold. In addition, difficult-to-access resources are available to players. Their total quantity is approximately 11,000 gold, which is equivalent to 110 packs. These rewards will only become available for reaching high levels of the rewards track by significantly increasing your time spent in the game. If you are not ready to spend your life exclusively in Hearthstone, you can purchase one of the pre-orders. Even a $50 offer will allow you to collect almost the entire collection of cards from the set during the expansion phase.
The balance of resources is not random. Blizzard carefully calculates all rewards to maintain monetization efficiency. A limited number of free easily accessible resources corresponds to the original strategy of the developers. You should have enough resources for a comfortable game and gradually replenish your collection over 4 months, but after the release of a new expansion, the lack of resources should motivate players to make a purchase. Guys, this isn't a scam, is it?
Dora, let's just acknowledge the fact that in conditions of an overly loyal economy, and without manipulation techniques, free-to-play games could not exist.
For this reason, intentionally limiting free resources is the only way for the game to survive. Despite this, the flexibility of Hearthstone's economy allows players to break the original rules of the developers.
But guys, if Blizzard has limited every gold coin and piece of dust in easily accessible rewards, then how can you cheat the system and get more than originally intended?
This is why alternative ways to obtain resources and proper resource management have such a huge impact on your progress. The most common example of such a strategy is the accumulation of all gold for 4 months with the aim of further purchasing packs after the release of a new expansion. This approach allows any free-to-play players to compensate for the lack of the ability to purchase pre-orders.
In addition, new changes were gradually introduced into Hearthstone that created holes in the progression system. For example, the division of the rating mode into wild and standard formats led to the fact that cards that have undergone rotation have lost their value. Subsequently, many players began to completely destroy cards from sets that went into the wild format. Even though disenchanting the card only brings in a quarter of the original cost, this approach allows players to receive a huge amount of additional dust, approximately 30,000 annually. In a system in which all resources are in perfect balance, this is a real disaster.
As I recall, you consider this a barbaric strategy that has negative consequences for both players and the game's monetization efficiency, but at the same time, for many players it is a great way to increase the standard collection.
That's right, but despite the advantages, this possibility has an extremely negative impact on the further development of the game. Another gap was created with the introduction of XP points as a reward for time spent in battle. This allowed players to abuse XP grinding in mercenaries mode.
With the introduction of a large number of balance changes, new opportunities have opened up for abuse of game features. Players receive compensation for each copy of a card that was nerfed. Our farm is based on the idea of collecting duplicates and minimizing the destruction of cards from the standard collection until they are weakened. Your duplicates may be a source of resources. For this reason, we have not used the mass disenchant button for many years. If we need resources, we ourselves choose which useless duplicates we can get rid of first. The more free resources you collect, the more duplicates you can get for your farm and the more potential dust you will earn after each nerf.
I think I'm starting to understand. The common card can be disenchanted for 5 dust, but after the nerf, each copy will bring you 40 dust. Thus, the value of the card will increase 8 times. The same applies to rare cards, their cost will increase 5 times. But to get an impressive result, the player should have a very large number of duplicates. Moreover, free-to-play players will not be able to benefit from cards of higher rarity, since they will not have enough free resources to start receiving epic and legendary cards in packs.
True, but there are other possibilities, such as golden variants of cards. If you are lucky enough to find a golden epic legendary card, you must save it in your collection for as long as possible. I repeatedly get rid of a golden epic card for 1600 dust after nerfs.
Golden, common and rare cards can also bring you a lot of benefits, so consider them as a long-term investment. We get rid of all duplicates and golden cards only after rotation, and also disenchant all cards for which refund is offered after nerfs. If the card retains its usefulness in the latter, we can always craft it again. Unlike the bot, I have been using this strategy for the past few years and am surprised at how much more profit I am getting. Of course, creating a farm will take time. You will be able to feel significant benefits in a year, and after 2 years you will be able to almost double your passive income. The disadvantage is the unevenness of profits. In some cases you may get a small benefit, but often duplicates can net you several thousand dust. The strategy works like a snowball. The more dust you manage to farm, the more high rarity cards you can craft and the more dust you will get back after nerfs as compensation. In conditions of a strict limit of easily accessible resources, obtaining an additional large amount of dust without having to destroy the entire collection is an extremely useful feature.
You've previously suggested that players stop using the mass disenchant button in videos about the best life hacks. If card farm has such huge benefits, why isn't anyone talking about this method except you? Why is this strategy not popular?
Dora, how many content creators do you know who are free-to-play players, and who are concerned about the balance of free resources in the game? When you have a premium account you cannot feel the problems that most players face.
Despite all the advantages, we cannot strongly recommend this strategy to all players, since it is not a necessary part of the game's progression. If you regularly purchase at least one of the pre-orders, then most likely you have enough resources to obtain almost all the cards, including completely useless ones. If you are a free-to-play player who takes part in all the activities, then you have enough resources to get almost all the useful cards. For this reason this approach may also seem pointless to you. But if you want to get significantly more resources than provided by the developers, then you should give this approach a chance, and now is the best time to turn your collection into a farm.
It looks convincing, but I'm not sure I'm ready to give up the mass disenchant button. Don't get me wrong, I want more dust, but even the current number of rewards provided by Blizzard is mostly enough for me to feel competitive. Moreover, this strategy does not suit my playing style. Since I am not ready to invest in the future, I want to manage my resources at any time. Dear viewers, what do you think? Does Hearthstone offer enough free resources to keep every player competitive? Share your thoughts in the comments and join the polls in the community tab.
Also join the vote for the best legendary cards from the showdown in the Badlands expansion.
Finally, we want to welcome new subscribers to our mathematician squad. We only see nicknames of public users who have not hidden the subscription section on their channel, but we are grateful to everyone for joining.
Okay, that's all for today. Thank you for spending this time with us. We really hope that we will have the opportunity to get in touch in the next video.
Take care of yourself.
And never give up.
Job's done.